Yo, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? Guys, holy, our little detective has done the work, and I honestly don't know what next week's episode's even gonna be about, seeing how everything was seemingly handled in this week. But I have a good idea in the grand scheme of just what might happen after now. um, them talking and just having an interesting overall conversation about the future of what could possibly happen, maybe with more of these occurrences that could happen. But when you truly look at it, it honestly doesn't feel too straightforward with what the series can be in another season. Like, if anything happens in this season and we go on to the next, what will be brought over from season one besides maybe some talks of this ghost existed because of someone's imagination or something? But at the end of the day, I don't feel as if we'll hear too much more about this. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that's what's also good about this is it wasn't a typical fighting anime style and stuff like that where the one person who wins is because he was stronger, because he had more strength, something like that. It more or less came down to who was smart enough to set up multiple thought processes to the audience, to the viewers, and the overall people who were giving power to this ghost. It all came down to making them have multiple upon multiple decisions, not just choices in general, but they got to decide really what they felt at the end of the day of all this stuff, and that is what truly was cool about this, is because not only did she present so many different ways and hows it could be possible that different things popped off that wasn't including the ghost, that once you get back to the next and the real thing she's been trying to set up, which is having the other girl destroy herself so many times to go for futures, that she winds up choosing the future our main girl wanted her to. So she knew there was a future that was possible for her to create if she did the right circumstances, and she wound up doing that, thus putting this other future reader in checkmate that, probably no one should be able to do unless you have knowledge of what the person's ability is possible of doing in the first place. So this is one of these times where knowing your enemy is the true bane of why they lose. And I like that because it makes sense. If someone knew that I was going to do certain so and so and say so and so after something's been said, they can easily walk me into a trap, have me say those things that I would defend or whatever, and then boom, you're looking at something you can't really escape from because your oppositions were smart enough to put you in that position where now you just kind of have to go with the flow. At the end of the day, she had to just watch and react to what was going to happen to her ghost that she created pretty, pretty much through a voting system of someone that randomly is just on there giving that as an answer. She's like, you can vote and tell me what you think, even if you like, even though there's no poll or anything like that. Just by saying something, your vote is being added because anybody that goes against the ghost, anyone that goes for the ghost, is going to make her stronger or weaker, and that was pretty much another really smart move of the overall plan, was just to keep everything relatively easy to follow. And if it wasn't easy to follow, those are the people that truly got the answers they were looking for, because there was a lot to digest, and to all of a sudden get all those answers and have a decent understanding of what is possible. Now we're looking at some interesting stuff popping off in the future of the series if someone so chooses to do this again the same way that they just did. So as a whole, I'm still on the fence of this show. Like, the the overall detective work and everything that was the lies and stuff like that. It wasn't even detective work. It was just lying and being a smart liar. And whoever was the smarter liar won, which I feel like can't it shouldn't that shouldn't be the go-to thing for every single arc for this show, which I don't think it is. I'm not saying I know anything about the next stuff that happens in the show. I'm just saying if this is all we had to go off of, and this is how things are always going to be handled, which also shouldn't be possible. I mean, sure, our main guy could end up fighting a vengeful spirit and dying over and over while they try to figure something out. But I just feel like this should have been the one moment of this, and now they should really dial in on something new, just like how this was new, and gravitate towards that. So, like I said, I have no idea if there's even another season coming or if they're already going to do that. I'm just stating that everything they've done in this show already was interesting and new. That if they can keep doing stuff like that and not following normal trends and whatnot, and pretty much making their own trends as they go, I think the show is in for a very good uh, fan reactions then, because I was thinking about why I kind of didn't care for this build, this overall battle of just lies and deception and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when she goes through all the stuff that she's making up and setting up, it was cool. And I was thinking in my head, why is it that this felt like more of a chore than it did just watching a show and enjoying it? It's because there's so much information being laid out every single week's episode that either A was going to be pointless because it was all lies and stuff, or B, they were going to be the thing that actually takes this ghost down at the end of the day, which was hard to see. So you then started thinking of all the things and reasons why she was going to these limits to say these things. But yeah, overall, I do think the show should do relatively well. It was different. It was out of the norm of what was been going on in shows for time and time again since for decades now, right? Um, I don't think there's a lot of shows where the people talking in the background truly decide the battle that's happening between two people that are practically immortal, one being a ghost, one being a human mixed with a mermaid who could live forever. Um, these are the types of things that we have to take into consideration, that this battle would have lasted forever, seeing how they could have just kept showing some different futures to make it last that way, but it didn't, and I'm just curious into seeing how many people are going to want to see another season, how many people are actually going to watch another season, and if all of that is said and done, what do the other seasons have, or what is the other season going to do to keep us entertained? But with all that being said, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So with all that being said, take care and peace.